Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Laptime challenge on Gran Turismo 7. Before going into the details, let me share some information. I have noticed that still the majority of people watching is not subscribed to the channel. So if you're new around here and this guide helped you out in the end, please consider subscribing. So today we are racing on Autopolis Speedway in the Honda NSX Street version. We are on sports medium tires. The current world record is a 155.8 and that leaves us at least to be the 159.3. So let's get right into the guide. First of all, before finishing your lap, make sure you rev out 4th gear over the finish line before shifting into 5th. Then go over to the left hand side of the track and your first brake marker will be after the 200 board, this orange marker on the left hand side. Go hard into the brakes, down to 3rd gear and then turn in, trying to go over the inside curb, letting the car roll, before then in the mid of the corner going flat out again and trying to use all the width of the track to maintain your speed. Next again, go over to the left hand side of the track up to 5th gear and your next brake marker will be shortly ahead of the 100 board on the left hand side. Again, brake hard and go down to 3rd gear, then open up the brakes for grip, turn over the curb on the inside and then back to the power shortly, trying to go a little bit over to the right before turning to the left, lifting the accelerator pedal, slight power input mid-corner before lifting again for grip on the front axle, then go back to the power shortly before getting hard into the brakes again mid of the curb on the right hand side. Then try to keep the car narrow to the curb on the inside, down in 2nd gear, give it some slight power inputs to get rotation into the car and then flat out using all the width of the track, try not to keep it too narrow, otherwise you will have power oversteer. Then over to the right and at the beginning of the curb on the right hand side, simply lift the power pedal into this left hander, give it some very slight brake interaction, keep it in 3rd, slight power inputs, and with this Marshall box on the right hand side, go flat out again and use again all the width of the track to take a good speed out of this corner. Then keep it narrow on this right hander and keep it in 4th gear. The next brake marker will be shortly after the 100 board on the right hand side. Hard into the brakes and down to 2nd gear, then use trail braking into this left hander, let the car roll before then going slightly back to the power, and once you see the curb on the right hand side, flat out, try to avoid power oversteer. I did a little mistake on this one and lost some time. But then flat out again over to the left hand side up to 5th gear and shortly after the 100 board, hard into the brakes and down to 3rd gear, try to aim to let the car slide over the inside curb, which I slightly missed, before going shortly back to the power in 3rd using all the width of the track to the left, then lift the pedal, give it some slight brake input, try to maintain a close distance to the inside curb on the right, then some power input, shortly flat out, lifting again to get the load change to the left hand side, then short power input again before braking shortly ahead of this inside curb. Then keep it in 3rd again, let the car roll through this corner, slight power inputs, try to get close to the inside curb on the right and then flat out again over the curb on the left. And whilst the concrete base of the bridge disappears from your screen on the left, lift the accelerator pedal, give it some slight brake input, try to maintain a close distance to the left hand side curb, before shortly going flat out again, keeping it in 3rd, don't upshift to 4th, and with the red barrier part on the left hand side again, give it some brake input, try to keep a close distance to the inside curb on the right hand side, some slight power input for rotation, before then going flat out again, going up to 4th gear and again try to keep 4th gear before going over the finish line and then upshifting to 5th. And for those of you driving in chase cam, let's review the lap once more. So getting out of the last corner, try to keep 4th gear over the finish line before going up to 5th, then get the car over to the left hand side of the track and slightly after the 200 board there's an orange marker on the barrier on the left, that's your brake marker. Hard into the brakes, down to 3rd gear, late turn in, over the curb on the inside, then early back to the power using all the width of the track and the curb. Up to 4th gear, go over to the left hand side of the track again and shortly ahead of the 100 board on the left, brake hard in a straight line, down to 3rd, let the car roll over the inside curb, giving it some short power input, then for the load change lift again to the left, short power input mid corner, lifting again for rotation, short power input again before braking hard and down to 2nd gear for this right hander. Now be gentle on the power and use a wide line to avoid power oversteer. Up to 3rd gear over to the right hand side of the track, beginning of the curb on the right, lift the power pedal, slight brake input, try to keep a narrow line and with this Marshall post on the right, flat out again up to 4th gear. And now keep it in 4th up to the next brake marker, which is again the 100 board on the right hand side. Then hard into the brakes and down to second gear, let the car roll into this corner and be gentle on the power now. I had some power oversteer as you can see. Then up to third and fourth gear, over to the left hand side of the track, shortly up to fifth, and shortly after the 100 board brake down to third gear. Try to go over the inside curb before going back to the power, keeping it in third. Lift it again and give it some slight brake action. Try to keep a narrow line again before shortly going flat out, lifting again for a low change to the left, shortly flat out again and at the beginning of the curb on the right. Brake hard, keeping it in third, let the car roll through this corner, some power input for rotation, then flat out over the curb on the left hand side, and with this bridge short brake interaction try to keep a narrow line through this left hander, shortly flat out in third gear before braking into that last corner, and with some slight power input for rotation before going flat out and trying to make your way to the finish line, keeping it in fourth gear before crossing that line, hopefully getting yourself a gold time and 2 million credits. And that's already it for this week's lap time challenge in Autopolis in the Honda NSX. This one was quite more tricky than I expected it to be, because it feels like it's trying to find the balance in between hard braking and turning in, whilst not having the car slide on those sports medium tires. So as I said, quite tricky. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if this guide helped you out, feel free to share, like and subscribe, and then I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching and bye bye.